Just in time. Hey guys, how are we going? Sorry, that's my laundry machine saying that I need to put my clothes out. What do we want to do today? I was thinking about doing some basic, not basic, like a little bit of algebra. Hello, hello. Yeah, so I was thinking of doing some inequalities because I don't know if it's going to show up or not, but it's just worth kind of knowing it. So the question for inequalities is going to look something like this. I'll just grab a screenshot of this question. Ilma, where did you send me that message again? Because I know I saved it somewhere. Ooh, that is such a good question. Okay, I've got some questions from Hasi, so I'm gonna work on those questions after this one, all right? So just give me a second. It just takes a bit of time to sync, but we should be good to go after that. I'm just copying all the questions here. Prove that. Oh yeah, that's a great question there. Another algebra question. All right, why don't we start with this question, and then I will try and get the rest of the questions up quickly. Yeah, this is one of the Snedden's practice ones, but like we can change it up a little bit, so it doesn't really matter. But it's worth kind of knowing these types of questions. And I've got a few questions from Hasi, which I'm gonna just cut and paste. Oh, this one. We haven't actually done this yet. I've seen it quite a few times, you guys asking me how to do this one. All right, I think we've got 4 questions. That should be more than enough today. This question, I reckon it's probably worth a merit, I would say. Sorry, I'm just checking if all the photos are syncing up. Yep, they're syncing up slowly. Level 2 10-hour stream until 4 a.m. Aqualintic, was this the calculus one? I think that's the only playlist that I have for 10 hours. How was it? Was it good? Was it helped? Not helped? All right, folks. So we're going to do this question here. Now, when it actually says solve the inequality in this kind of situations, what you need to do is you pretty much do it just like a normal quadratic equation. But however, what you have to kind of keep in mind is that it is not equal to 0. So it's actually less than or equal to 0. So what do I mean by that? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually rearrange this. So when we rearrange this, you can email it to me, Mint. When we rearrange this, we're going to get x squared minus 4x plus 3 is less than or equal to 0. Now, you do get these kind of quadratic questions like every now and then. You always see these types of questions. So it is just good to know how to do them. And the way these questions work is like you almost have to treat it just like a normal parabola equals to 0, like a normal quadratic equation equals to 0. So if we were to do this, we would get, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to kind of just skip a step here, and I'm going to go x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals to 0. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to factorize this quadratic, and when I factorize it, I'm going to get x minus 3 and x minus 1 equals to 0. And from here I can say that x minus 3 equals to 0 or x minus 1 equals to 0. So x is equal to 3 or x is equal to 1. Now with you, what you need to do is like, I mean, you can go directly from like line 1 to line 5 without any kind of issues. But then we're not done with this question yet, so we are actually trying to figure out for what values of x is this equation less than or equal to 0. So the way we're going to do it is like, and I kind of do this with you know, just a sketch of a parabola. So a sketch of a parabola always helps me out. So I just go like this because it's a positive parabola, and I know it's positive because of that x squared there. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to put this, let's go with a different color here. Somewhere here, this is that 0, all right? So this is when y is equal to 0. And what I know is that this first value is going to be 1, and the second value is going to be 3. So that is, so keep in mind that the blue is when y is equal to 0, and then the red is for x equals to 1, or x equals to 3 here. All right, and those values of x equals 1 and 3, I got it from here. So this tells me that this point is 1 and this point is 3. Now, when you do this, it's the quadratic is asked for less than or equal to 0. So if you're looking for less than or equal to 0, we're looking for this zone here. So with this zone, as you can see, that's actually between 1 and 3. So the answer for this question is going to be 1. Because it's less than or equal to 0, we're going to put less than or equal to x and less than or equal to 3. So this is pretty much going to be my final answer. Now I know there's a few questions coming up on the chat about doing this in the calculator. In the calculator, I don't know if it does less than or equal to. So for example, delete, yes. I mean, what you can do is type. I guess you can put it like this. When is y? Okay, I just want to check this out, all right? To see if this works or not. Type. I'll just try it out. X squared. If it does, it's pretty amazing. Shift view window finish. Oh no, this is doing the yeah, this is doing the no, that's not right. I think what it's doing is it's actually doing when is y greater than that value. So no, I don't think you can do this in the calculator, because for us we've actually got 0. We want it to be less than 0, so it's almost like you have to put that y1 as 0, and yeah, sorry folks, I don't think you can do it like that. So I'm just going to put that as equals. Let me just change the type. No, it's not going to let me do that. Delete, yes. Okay, so let's just go x squared minus 4x plus 3. I think all it does is like you can just get the values from there. So if you go gsolve and look for the roots, so that's going to give you x equals to 1, and the next one is x equals to 3. No, I think you're right, David, because we're going to go through another one of these questions. So yeah, so you can get the roots from the graphics calculator, but the part where you get the zones, I think you still have to do that manually. I don't think you can actually do that on the calculator. I don't think the calculator gives you an answer. But if you look at the graph itself, right, this is the graph, and this is the actual parabola graph. And you're trying to, the question's asking, when is this going to be less than 0? And so between 1 and 3, the y values are all like negative. So that's how I know it's between 1 and 3 that this zone is the correct one that we need to be doing. Okay, let me put another question, similar question like this. And also, if you do have any questions, please feel free to yell out, and I will just put this there and there. And you guys can take part B of this question, and let's try the inequality of x squared. I'm going to give you a couple of simple ones to do. 7x, negative 7x, negative 7x. What am I doing? Negative 7x plus 6. Will that work? No, it won't. So try that one real quickly. And Hasi will actually go through the flipped one very quickly as well. We only change the sign if we're dividing by a negative number, and I think in this case you don't actually ever divide by it because it's all, you're always moving the numbers. I don't think you'll be dividing anything here, but that's for if you're doing inequalities with straight lines and you're dealing with like a negative x. Yeah, I can't be stuffed, man, because like some things happened with my, there's some sort of delay somewhere. Oh, yeah, I can see where the delay is. Okay, let me just change that. I don't know why it does this. It automatically goes. How's that now? Okay, so it was a 500 millisecond delay there. I don't know what, because I renewed the license, so it sometimes it does this thing where it resets some settings. Okay, so how do we go with this one? This should be a nice and simple one, just like the previous question, so it shouldn't take us too long to do it. Aqualintic, no. I haven't been to a concert in like almost 29 years. It's terrible. Nah, you don't, Maxbury. I mean, like, you can just, I mean, I only do the middle steps to kind of show people where it comes from. So let's do this one quickly. So I'm going to rearrange this. I'm going to get x squared minus 7x plus 6, no, plus 6, yeah, is less than or equal to 0. And then I'm going to factorize this. So I've got x minus 6 and x minus 1 less than or equal to 0. And then I've got x minus 6 is equal to 0, or x minus 1 is equal to 0. X is equal to 6, x equals to 1. My parabola looks like this. Ugly parabola, doesn't really matter. Always put the smallest number first, largest number second, and we're looking for less than 0. So that means we're going to be here, and so our zone is going to be 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6. All right, now this is a nice easy one because it's like your zone is kind of between two numbers. I want to give you one more question in this, but this time I'm going to have the zone kind of going somewhere else. So what if we have something like this? We have x squared plus 8x, what do we do, minus 20. So I'm going to put it greater than 0 this time. Sorry, I know that other question is a bit distracting, but that's better. So try that. I'll give you folks a couple of minutes. But this one is, you've got to make sure you get the right zone. And sometimes people struggle with writing the answers for this because they get confused with the greater than or less than. I'm going to grab my water. Where is it? Now I'm hoping that you guys are okay with finding the two solutions first, and then once you get that part, it's just getting the right zones. So I'm going to work through this now. So I'm going to factorize this straight away. So I've got x plus 10, x minus 2 is greater than 0. 10, 10, 10, yep, that looks good. Then I'm going to put x plus 10 equals to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. And then I've got x is equal to minus 10. And in this case, I've got x is equal to positive 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the parabola. It's a positive parabola, so I'm going to put it like that. I have my line of 0, which is y equals to 0 there. And my 2 points, smallest first, negative 10. Largest second, that's going to be positive 2. Now, in this question, notice how it's actually asking for greater than 0. If it's asking for greater than 0, then the zone we're looking for is this little part and this part here. And a lot of people write the answers in the incorrect way here. So one of the ways I kind of look at it is like, in this case, we've got to write it like this, and this is where people always end up getting it wrong. So you're going to get x is less than or equal to negative 10, and it's actually 2 and above. So if you think about it, so x has to be greater than, and sorry, there shouldn't be an equal sign there because it was greater than 0, and x has to be greater than 2. Now, sometimes what happens is like I always find that people kind of mess up with the symbols. So one suggestion that I always kind of do is this, and this is the hack. It's a terrible hack, but it works. What I do is like this. I'm gonna go back, and there was a reason why I did question B and C like this, because I wanted to show you guys how to write the answers. So the first is like this. I kind of just do a little dotted line here, and I put a 1. Then I put the 6 here, and as you can see, the x has to be between 1 and 6. So I just put the x like this, and the arrow is always pointing towards the left side. And if you notice it, this and this is exactly the same thing. Now, as for the other one, what I do is I pretty much follow the same little trick, right? I just go put down negative 10 here, and then put down 2 here. But the x is actually before negative 10, so I'm just going to put the symbol like that. And in this case, x is after the 2, so the arrow will point out like this. So the only difference between these two answers from here and the difference from these two answers is this part right here. I've written it slightly differently, but that's still the right way of writing it. So either one of those answers that you write, you are going to be given the right mark for it. I remember the difference. STV Star Platinum, I would say the level 2 calculus playlist in 10 hours playlist is a pretty good place to start it if you want to get better at calculus. Yes, it's absolutely fine. You should be okay to use a graphics calculator to solve your quadratic. unless they actually ask you to kind of show working, which yeah, I don't know if they will, because don't know what these questions look like. Let me know if that's okay, and then we can actually move on to the next question. Formula sheet for level 1. Resource sheet, come on, where is it? That is such a loaded question, Aryan. Algebra, tables, equations, geometry, measurement. Have I got everything? Probably a little bit of number, I would say. I don't know. All right, so we're going to move on to the next question, which is going to be a measurement one, or do we want to do an algebra one? You guys let me know. David, what I would say is, if you do want, where do I have it? Did I move it? No, I did not move it. Okay. This is something in my channel that you folks can actually find. Now, this is all the old NCA level 1 exams. So these are all like the old exams that we did have. Now, I did a lot of live streaming over the course of last few years, and I think if you do want to know a little bit about algebra, then I think this playlist is really good. It covers pretty much all the things you need for your algebra. And then if you want to know about trigonometry, this one is really good. And if you're doing anything with tables, so that's like parabolas, exponential graph, or straight line, this playlist is really good. So Aryan, you asked me, I've got about 3 playlists that's a good starting point for you. They're all like repeats of skills that I worked throughout the year. So it's just like a lot of different skills there that gets covered. Now that's quite normal, Max. It's pretty much, there's only like, you get the formulas and then you got to use the formulas and that's it. All right, so for the next question, what we're going to do is we are going to go to this question here. So we've got a shape of this solid sphere with a center O, and then what we've got is we've got the volume, and then we've got to figure out what the surface area of S is. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to give you folks a couple of formulas to work from. So for the sphere, volume of the sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed, and then surface area is 4 pi r squared. And I think you are also given area of a circle, which is pi r squared. So what I'd like you folks to do is give a go with this question. Like it does have a little bit of like very kind of basic algebra in it, but you can actually do this all in the calculator. In the meantime, I'll answer questions here. Right, thank you. Likely to learn. How do I write an inequality for a parabola? Josh, I think we just went. I think you're asking me how do I write? I've just shown how to solve an inequality for a parabola. But how do you write an inequality for a parabola they might give you a question like, when is this parabola greater than a value or something like that. That's the only time I can think about writing it as an equation. So for this question, remember that you've actually got quarter of the sphere. So use the volume first, and you've got to do backwards. So your volume is 1810. Now that's for a quarter of this particular shape. So when you multiply that by 4, you're going to get the volume of the whole sphere. So yeah, you got to work backwards. I'll give you folks like maybe about 3 to 4 minutes. I just need to get something else. I'm still kind of hungry.
This 2 is 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 × 2
does that work? Sorry, suddenly I've got a hungry for food. Yeah, fried cashews, does it work? Okay. Sorry, just looking at recipes for something to eat. Okay, so let's go through this question now. Hopefully you guys had a chance to go through this. So now it actually says a quarter of the sphere. So the quarter of sphere is equal to 1810. That means the whole sphere is going to be 4 times 1810, which is going to give us 40, 36, 72, 40. Yeah, just suddenly I went and had a look at the pantry just to see what was there. I saw the air fryer and then I saw the cashews and I was like, could I make air fried cashews? I think I'm going to go give it a go when I get you guys to do the next part of this question. All right. So the whole sphere is 7,240. So we're going to put down 7,240 equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Now the reason we're doing this is because we want to figure out the radius. Oh no. That's all right. Would that work? No, it wouldn't work then. So we're going to figure out what the radius is. So 7,240 equals this. Now, here's the thing, folks. If you are not confident doing this, you can actually do this in the graphics calculator to get the answer. And the way you do it is you go into menu. I'm going to do both ways, so don't worry. I'm going to go into equation, and then you go into solver. And in solver, you're basically going to go down 7,240 is equal to, so you're going to go shift decimal, which is equals. And then we're going to put the 4/3, so 4/3, and multiplied by shift, well, pi r cubed. So then I'm going to go times r. Now, the good thing is if you are nervous, you can actually put down alpha r. So if you go alpha and r, you can actually put that as r, and then we're going to put it to the power of 3. We're going to click on enter, and what's going to happen is this whole thing is going to change, and because it's now looking at r is the only unknown, so we're going to click on solve, or you can just press exe again. When you do that, it comes up with a radius of 12. Now let's have a look at our working. All right, this is you can do this, you can use this in your exam, but we are going to do it the long way just to kind of understand what's happening here. So because especially if you're doing level 2 algebra, you need to be comfortable doing this without the graphics calculator. I recommend the calculator only to check your answers. All right, so we're going to cross multiply the 3 first. So we've got 7,240 multiplied by 3, and this is equal to 4 pi r cubed. So I'm going to do that first. So 7,240 times 3, and that's going to give me 21,720 equals 4 pi r cubed. Then I'm going to get rid of the 4 pi. So 21,720 divided by 4 pi. So I'm going to go that divided by 4. Actually, let's delete that. I want to put it as 4 times pi. Unfortunately, I don't have a keyboard shortcut for pi. And when I do this, I actually get 1,728.4, I don't know, whatever that is. I'm just going to put it as 42. Now, I'm not really worried about decimal points here. The reason is because I am going to use the answer directly from there. So what do I mean by that? Because r cubed is this, then r is going to be the cube root of 1728.42. And the way I'm going to do that is for cube root, I'm just going to put down 3 first, and then shift this button here. So that basically says that that's going to become a cube root. Now, if, for example, you could also do it this way as well. So if you click on that, you're going to get 2 boxes. We're going to put 3, and then for this, I'm just going to put shift and minus. That's going to put the answer in there. So as you can see, I'm getting that same value, which is 12.009. So my radius is going to be 12.009. I guess you can kind of round it up to 12 if you really want to. But you know what? I'm just going to be a bit picky. I'm just going to leave the answer in there. And I'm going to work out the surface area of the shape. Now the surface area of the shape, so surface area of S is, I've got quarter of a sphere, which is the outside, plus 2 semicircles, which is like 1 circle. Now let me just highlight that part, because the circle, because I've got the top, that's 1/2, and then this is the other half, which actually creates a perfect circle. The quarter of a sphere is this part here and all the way around. So I'm going to go quarter sphere. So that's quarter times 4 pi r squared. Plus the circle is pi r squared. Now you could actually put this in the calculator with your r, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually simplify this so it makes it easy for me. Now with the quarter and 4, quarter of 4 is just 1, because those two things cancel out, and what you have is pi r squared plus pi r squared, which is equal to 2 pi r squared, and because r is equal to 12.0009 squared, that's what I'm actually that's what I'm going to do there. So notice how I haven't actually got rid of my answer yet. It's still there. All right. So now I'm just going to go 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by the answer, and I'm going to just square the answer, which means I get the surface area as 904.93 centimeters squared. So what I'm going to do at this point right now, folks, is I'm going to throw up a whole bunch of lines. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me know if you have any questions with any one of those lines. And I'm happy to kind of help you with that. David, it's alright if you mess up. Look, look, you're meant to mess up in these kind of questions, alright? The more messing up you guys do right now, the better you get at solving these types of questions, because you actually learn from your mistakes a lot more. Trust me, I know. I make a lot of mistakes. The answer sheet says it's 904.8. Now, I will tell you why. I reckon they went with either 12, because if we do 2 times pi times 12 squared, which is that, there's your 904.8 hussy. They actually rounded that radius to 12. Christina, I added 1 circle was because I'm gonna do it slightly different. Just give me 1 second. Where's my other highlighter? There. The reason I did 1 circle was because the pink part is half a circle, and the blue part is the other half of the circle. So when you add them together, you actually get one circle. All right, so any questions with this? Does it kind of make sense what we did? Josh, if you look in the description, you can actually see my email address, or if you go to just my main page, you'll find the email address. I reckon this would be an excellence question. I don't think this would be a merit question, because you're doing at least 3 different steps here. Like, I mean, you got to find, yeah, now definitely an excellence, I would say. Thanks, Hasi. different. I don't think there's a hardest question as possible, because like they just try and make you think differently. That's all. You're welcome, Alicia. Crumb, we're just kind of doing some kind of random questions that Hasi sent. All right, we're gonna do one more question today, because I'm just wary of the time. So, and that's this one here. I love this question, because this question is like a proof question, and it just, yeah, once you do like one of these questions, like everything else just becomes straightforward after that. That was a good measurement question, by the way. As for people that have sent me questions, what I'll do is I will most likely put them up for the next session, and we will just kind of work through these questions. Beth, I've got your question here. I think if we have time, I'll do that real quickly, because yeah, I see what they're trying to do there. Mint, I'm not sure where you sent your question, because I don't actually have it. Jamie, trust me, I nearly quit ages ago, man. We did a little bit of it. All right, so like if you're stuck with this question, right? Like I think most people, they go, oh, well, you know, how do I even do this? How do I start? What do I do here? My suggestion is this, all right? Take a random number and try and like kind of just substitute a couple of numbers just to see what's happening here. Now the question is saying, prove that the difference between the squares of any 2 consecutive integers. Okay, let's just take like, I don't know, I'm just going to do this on the side here. I'm going to take 3 and 4, right? So what it says is, if I square both of these numbers and I add them, so if I do 3 squared plus 4 squared, the difference between the squares, so I'm doing 4 squared minus 3 squared. So that's going to be 16 take away 9, which equals to 7, is equal to the sum of those integers. Okay, so 3 plus 4 equals to 7. Okay, cool. That makes sense, right? Let me try another set of numbers. Let's try, consecutive means one after the other, right? So let's try 6 and 7. If I do 7 squared minus 6 squared, I get 49 minus 36. That's equal to 13. And then I've got 6 plus 7 equals to 13. Okay, cool. So we just tested this out with numbers. It works absolutely fine. So then all we have to do is this. It's asking for any consecutive numbers, right? Why do we square them? Because it's telling you between the squares of any two consecutive integers. And so this is why we actually square them. And it says the difference. So that means we've got to subtract. And then we've got sum of these integers, which is what we're doing at the end there. So Maya, hopefully that makes sense. So let's just take this number, right? What we're going to do is we're going to get our first unknown number. We're going to write that as x. All right. If that's just x, then our very next number is going to be x plus 1. And that's pretty much it, because it's like once you have the x and x plus 1, all you have to do is you just got to go square it. So we're going to go x plus 1 squared minus x squared. Because remember in the numbers, when we had something like, I don't know, I'm just going to do another one here. I'm going to do 5 and 6. If it's 5 and 6, we did 6 squared minus 5 squared. That's what we're doing here. But we've got to expand the brackets. So we're going to do x plus 1 times x plus 1 minus x squared. Now when we do this, we're going to get x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus x squared. And then this is now equal to 2x plus 1. But if you look at the sum of the integers, so if we do sum, so sum of the integers is x plus 1, and that's equal to 2x plus 1. We're done. So we've just proven that the sum is equal to the difference of the two squares. What's the obsession with the tattoo? I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Happy? Now, consecutive number questions are so easy. The trick is, I would say, take some numbers, play around with it, and then kind of substitute it. Because, like, look at this. That's all I did here. So that's the number squared. Then the green part is the difference. And then the sum of these integers is you've got x and x plus 1. What do we mean? Yeah, we've done with this question, right? I don't think this will be an excellence, David. More like a merit question, because this is like, the excellence one would be a little bit more work than this. Well, yeah, no, it was good fun. I also picked up this in the weekend, which was quite nice. I've got it. I need to put it somewhere. Yeah, that was a good one. Got a few more. I need to actually start stacking these awards. Where did the plus 1 go? Which line are we talking about, the plus 1? Yeah, alright, Hussy. I've got to write the statement. Fine. Product. No, not product. Difference. Difference is 2x plus 1, which is the same as sum. Something like that. No worries, Phoebe. You're welcome. I don't know which last question you're talking about. This one here. Different. I only put this question here because I like this question. Where did it go? That one. Crumb, I do it every night. At the moment, I'm doing 5 nights a week leading up to the exams. I always do live streams. Are we doing this one? Oh, with the weird shape one. Oh man, why are you guys obsessed with that? Do I have 10 minutes? Yes, I do. Do I have the whole question? Crumb, basically my schedule is on the socials, on YouTube community page. You can find it here. I'll just link the document. There you go. I think level 1 maths we've got like on Thursday. I'm coming back to do it. I mean, if you guys are really keen, I don't mind running a Friday, Saturday session just for the hell of it, because I know it's getting really close. If you're keen, that is. All right, let's do this quickly, all right? Because I know that I'm guessing they're asking us to find C. Is that what the question is? Probably is. Okay, look, the best way to do this is I would actually, level 1 is on the 8th, yeah. So the best way to do this is I would actually make a grid out of all of this. Because when you make this as a grid, it just becomes so much more easier. So that right there is a 10. That right there is a 4. That is 3. That is 11. Yeah, fine, C. So this is what I'm going to do. So if I look at it like this, right? Now it says that there are 3 identical rectangles. So basically the yellow part here and this yellow part is equal to the same thing. If that's the case, then these two things are equal. So if we do 11 minus 3 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that means this right here is going to be 7. That means that the rectangle, if I just look at the rectangle, that's going to be 4. Hopefully that makes sense. Now if that's 4, then if I kind of take this part here, remember that this from here to here is also the length 4. If that's the length 4, this is going to be 8. That means the height of this rectangle is going to be 2. So basically this rectangle is 2 high and 4 long. So if that's the case, then this part here is going to be 2. So I can kind of add that up, which will make it 9. So the point C is going to be 9, 8. That's it. That's all this question is. I don't know, Jot. I think you'd have to ask Hasi. Hasi sent me this question. Is that correct? Different. What's the grade for this question? Yeah, wouldn't be more than that. I thought that. I think like look, like most of the time it's just drawing the diagrams. Like whenever I've never seen this is the first time I've done a question like this, but it's just understanding how things kind of just, draw the diagram, and it's just gonna help you out real easily. Thorfinn, I'm not sure. Like, look, unlike the previous years, I always say this at the end of every level 1 mathematical reasoning stream. This is the first year I'm doing this particular thing, and I've just got no kind of idea of what the questions are going to be like. Normally, like all the other papers that I've worked on, I get about 3 or 4 papers to kind of predict what the questions could look like, and so we can make some modifications. But these questions are like, I've never seen questions like these. So yeah, and I think you're right, different. I think that's why I like to draw like the rough sketches. It always helps me see things clearly, and I think once I can see it, it just kind of makes easy work. Tynick, do you teach a year 11 or level 1 class? No, I don't actually teach any level 1, 2, or 3. I teach only up to year 10. Anyway, guys, look, that's going to be us for this session because I got to start the next session. If you do want to catch up on the rest of the schedule, I've posted it on what do you call it, on the chat here, so you can have a look at it. We'll be back on Thursday, but look, I'm quite happy to kind of run a Friday, Saturday session if anyone's keen. But just reach out to me on Insta or anything, and I'll see what we can do. What's next? Hang on, let me just chuck this here. Achieved more complex. Yeah, they are the real tricks. Yeah, do you teach level 1 done? Troll, yes, it's on the OneNote. All of my notes are there actually. I'm sure I did it. Let me just have a quick look. Add source, desktop capture, OneNote. What is this called? Infinity +1 OneNote. I can't find it. There we go. Let me just open this up. So yeah, it is. All the notes are there. Today's one is there. I think level 2 calculus. Oh, there you go. Calculus in 15 hours. It's all there. Sorry, camera is kind of like moving all over the place. Let's remove that. Hey, hand grenade. No, I've not made it yet. It's really strange. Why is it really strange? My school's not strange. It's nice. Mint, I still don't know which question you sent. I don't know where you sent it. I've not received any email from you regarding this question that mysterious question you keep talking about. Nah, I'm not sleeping, Tanik. I'm actually doing a calculus complex numbers stream in a couple of minutes. Oh, please God, no. That would be terrible. Different. Oh, this. Okay, we will definitely do that first next week, Mint. It's a. Okay, look, I'll tell you what. I will just kind of set you guys off. So Mint had sent this question, and you guys can actually do this for homework if you want. Basically, this question is like, it just says that it's a rectangle and you got to find x and y. Now, what you have to do is remember that if this is a rectangle, this side is equal to this side, and this side, which is the height, equals to this. So your first equation is 2x plus 3 is equal to 9 minus y, and your second equation is 3x plus y equals 3y plus 16. So what you're doing is you're basically setting up a set of simultaneous equations. So I'm going to bring all the, so this will become 2x plus y equals 9 minus 3. So 2x plus y equals to 6. And then here you're going to get 3x plus y minus 3y equals 16. And then 3x is equal to minus 2y equals 16. And you've got a set of simultaneous equations and you're done, because then you just chuck it straight in the calculator. I got 20 seconds before it's 9 o'clock. Can I do it? Obviously not. Equation, go into simultaneous, two unknowns, and we're going to go 2, 1, 6, 3, minus 2, and 16. There you go. So x is equal to 4 and y is equal to minus 2. So 9 minus 2 is going to be 11. And then here you've got 3 times negative 2 plus 16, which equals to 10. There we go, mint. Done. Right, I got to run to that other stream, folks. So catch you guys later, all right? No worries. Sorry I was in a rush, but it's just, I know that sometimes we forget these questions really easy. I'm going to jump on to the other one. Catch you guys later. And stream.